Christmas has not been a merry one for Ronnie Deila after Celtic lost at home to Motherwell. Then Aberdeen joined them at the top of the Premiership, piling even more pressure on the manager. Hearts won a point at Celtic Park in September. They have been looking forward to the festive visit of the champions since the fixtures were announced during the summer. Tynecastle sold out weeks ago. Enjoy this Ladbrokes Premiership action in glorious high definition on Sky Sports 1 HD or watch it on your mobile device with Sky Go. Now, Celtic have 2 games in hand on their fellow leaders, but Aberdeen are yet again far too close for comfort. As Hearts reach the halfway stage, the team promoted as winners of last season's championship sit third with St Johnstone just a point behind. So Celtic have company at the top of the tree this Christmas time. Aberdeen fought back valiantly yesterday. How will Celtic respond here at one of the most atmospheric grounds in the United Kingdom? I'm delighted to say I'm joined this afternoon here at Tynecastle by Neil McCann, and in a short time the Hibernian manager Alan Stubbs will be hot-footing it from Hibs training base. Neil, tell me, just why is Ronnie Deila under so much pressure now?
Well, first of all, the European exploits. Champions League disappointment followed by Europa League disappointment. Throw into the mix that they've not won a home game since Halloween. Lost against Motherwell. Do I need to go on? Celtic fans, I don't think are very happy how Celtic are playing at the minute. But they're still up there at the top of the league. Joint top with Aberdeen with a couple of games in hand and a real difficult one today at Tynecastle.
With the budget that Celtic have got, should they be much further ahead?
Of course they should. Not being too disrespectful to every other team within the division. Celtic are far and away the biggest budget. They've got the best equipped squad. They would argue the best players. But
so what's gone wrong then? Well, do you believe there's been progress, as Ronnie Deila keeps on saying?
I don't know. I don't. I look at Neil Lennon and what he achieved with Celtic in Europe and domestically. I don't believe there has been progress. I think Ronnie Deila has a certain way of playing. It's advancing fullbacks, and it's not rocket science. A lot of teams do it now, but I believe in Scotland, and maybe teams lack a little bit of bravery and own belief to go and hurt Celtic. And when they do that, then the way Celtic play, they can exploit them, and that's why they lost the game against Motherwell, and that's why they should have a very difficult game today at Tynecastle.
We'll look more at that in a moment. Yeah. What do you expect from Hearts today? Home advantage, a lot of confidence around this football club, as there has been for the whole year.
I expect them to be stuffy as usual. I would love to see Robbie Neilson and Hearts having a real go, playing 2 up and being really aggressive. I don't think we'll see it. I came here in the League Cup game expecting to see it then. I didn't witness it. Celtic won that game comfortably. But what I will see in a Hearts side today is real organisation. I think the 2 centre-backs in particular have been excellent, real solid performers, and that shows by only conceding 5 goals in the last 10 games. So we know they can defend as a team. I would just love to see them going on the front foot a little bit more, because I do believe they have players there that can hurt Celtic.
They don't have the top goal scorer today, Hearts, because Juanma is suspended after a headbutt against St Johnstone just last week. He's replaced today by Gavin Riley. It's the former Queen of the South man's first start since September, 13 games ago. Otherwise, it's the same side which fought for a draw with 10 men at St Johnstone last Saturday. Now, Celtic have been hit by another injury blow. Chris Commons was crocked in training yesterday. There's another change. James Forrest drops to the bench. Top goal scorer Lee Griffiths is still out. Ronnie Deila hoped to have him fit for today. He was so key when Celtic won here in the League Cup. So it's Nadir Chifchi who continues up front. In come Stuart Armstrong and Stefan Johansson, both promoted from the bench. So Nadir Chifchi leads the line today. Has he been up to the job from what you've seen so far?
I don't think he's settled in just yet. There's a big a big responsibility on Chief today to find the goals that Lee Griffiths normally produces, and he has found the net of late. But I think he's just one of these guys that needs to adapt to Celtic. He needs to adapt to the way that Celtic want to play and the expectation levels. And I think he's struggled a wee bit in that respect. He's one of these moody sort of players that you get if he's at real hot form and he's on it, then he's a real handful. And of course, if he gets service, if he's not, he can be quite temperamental. And I don't think he does enough of a job for the team that man certainly does. So he's a huge miss. The reason that he's such a huge miss to Celtic and a boost to Hearts is he provides that threat of running in behind defenders and down the side of them. As I said, I mentioned the cup game here during the week, and Hearts were stuffy and solid, and all of a sudden Lee Griffiths popped up with a moment of magic. They haven't got that today.
Well, this is Ronny Deil's first Premiership trip to Tynecastle. He's already won here in the 2 cup competitions. He's under pressure, and he's here now with Luke Shanley.
Ronny, how confident are you can bounce back after last week?
I'm very confident. We have a very good team, and we have done it many times before, so I'm confident we're going to do a good performance today. But we also know that it's going to be a tough game because it's a good atmosphere, and Hearts have done well so far, so it's going to be interesting.
Do you feel it'll be a physical battle today?
Yeah, always. When you play Hearts, they are physical, but we have good physique in the team as well. But the team that plays well and have much tempo in the ball and defend as a team will win the game.
Do you feel it's easier playing away from home at the minute, given what happened last week?
That's hard to say, but if we play away, we have almost 5,000 people on the stands there as well. So it's that's fantastic when we have Celtic fans following us all over. So that's make it easier to play away. But of course, we enjoy more to play at Celtic Park.
Still no Lee Griffiths. The onus is on Nadir Chivchi again. You're confident he can do what he did against St Johnstone?
Yeah, he's been played some games in the row now and scored some goals, and hopefully get some goals today as well.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm delighted to say that Neil and I have been joined by the Hibernian manager, Alan Stubbs. Well, Alan, you've been out there. Full house today. Great atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one of them unique grounds here, whereas the atmosphere is fantastic and it is intimidating for the 15, 16,000 that will be here today. It'll be a test for Celtic. It'll be a big test for them today.
Ronny mentioned there it'll be a physical challenge. Is this about as tough as it gets physically in this division?
Well, I think what you've seen with Hearts, and I think from last year to this year, is that you've seen a lot of strength and power within the team. And Robbie's brought in some really good additions who've added that physicality to the team. And as you can see, the results have been very impressive. And for me, they've just basically carried on from last season.
Momentum's been behind them. On the other hand, Celtic has been stop-start. Why have they been vulnerable, do you think, Neil?
Well, I've got some clips that I'd just like to show you. First of all, the way Celtic play, David, they're wide open, they advance the fullbacks. Now, that's okay if teams are playing with one up and they're being quite defensive. But I'm just going to show you the clip here. And Celtic are quite good there in terms of numbers. You can see as it comes back. We're just going to get a little pause on it. OK, now, if we can circle there, make it state the obvious, 5v3. Comfortable possession. But just at the bottom of your picture, you can see Liam Polworth about to creep in, and that changes the game. Suddenly he trusts his teammates, have gone and pressured, and now he springs it and he's the key. Now, if you're prepared to be brave and put numbers forward, you get rewards. You can see a story goes through, goes round the goalkeeper and gets the goal. Again, the next clip we're going to see Ross County. Now, Ross County at this moment in time are 3-0 down. They might have not started the game like this, but suddenly they have to take risks, they have to throw bodies forward. There's 5 blue jerseys in the box there, putting Celtic under real pressure. This is Motherwell, who were a goal down. Not long after kick-off, look at that, there's 5 jerseys up in the game in the final third. It ends up 4v4, bang, another one. And this is another classic example of pressure. Getting in positions with bodies. At a minute there's only 3 Motherwell jerseys, but watch Keith Lasley coming from nowhere. He decides to go and put pressure on the ball. There's your 4th player in the final third. Scott McDonald, clever as ever, pulls a penalty and Celtic lose the game. So there's things within the Celtic's game that make them vulnerable. Now, Allen was a top-class centre-back, and the way they've advanced their full-backs, Allen, are you wanting their full-backs of a team go with 2 up aggressive to sit in and sit tight?
I think what you've seen from some of the clips you've just showed there is that there's a little bit of indecision amongst the defensive line, and I think when you have that, sometimes you need your leaders to stand up.
Do you feel Celtic have the leaders? Then?
Well, I think Scott Brown's obviously a huge miss. I think there is some leaders sometimes in performance, but maybe sometimes not in stature.
Right.
You know, and I think there's a big difference between the two. And what you've got with Celtic at the moment, you've got Johansson, who's playing in that deeper line role, which has more responsibility. You know, but he's more accustomed to playing in that more advanced role. Yeah. And I think teams are just looking to clamp onto Celtic now and pressurise that first touch and that first pass in, and they're having a bit of joy.
Yeah.
And, and it's a test not just for Celtic, but it's a test of character and all now.
And it comes down to bravery, the other team having a go.
It does.
Does Celtic need more bravery as well at the back?
They're a young back four, you know, and I think when you've got that, there is sometimes a little bit of indecision, as I just mentioned. Sometimes there's not that experience to. Sometimes you've got to be able to put your foot through it, clear your lines, and they are looking to play and do the right things more often than not. But they're getting caught on quite a few occasions with some of the goals. You look at a lot of the defensive goals they've conceded, and as a manager, you would like to think a lot of them can be prevented.
Yeah.
Okay, Stubbsy, Neil, more from you in a couple of minutes' time. Next, we'll look more at Hearts, a side who, of course, had an enjoyable and memorable 2015, sweeping to the title in the Championship in record time. And since promotion, they've risen comfortably into the top three. And next, we're joined by the Queen of Hearts. All roads lead to Tynecastle. Now remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Scotland Sky. That's at Scotland Sky. Now, when called upon in the club's hour of need last year, the Hearts fans stood up to be counted, and how they've been paid back by Ann Budge, who's now with Luke Shanley.
We're in the fantastic Memorial Garden here at Tynecastle. It's been a great 2015 for the club. Ann Budge, how do you sum up the year for the club?
Well, clearly it's been a fantastic year. None of us could have expected or dreamt that it would be quite so successful. So on the field and off the field, it's been amazing.
What are the challenges then going forward for next year?
Well, one of the things we've spent a lot of time doing in 2015 is planning, and a few things are now coming to fruition, including this Memorial Garden, and we have a number of other things in the pipeline which hopefully will start to deliver over the course of the next 12 months, including the museum, including the next stage of planning for staying here at Tynecastle, the new stand that everyone's terribly excited about. So yes, there's plenty to be doing, What
implications will that have then, staying at Tynecastle? It won't be easy you have to build a stand, fund that. What implications might that have on other areas of the club?
Well, one of the things we are working hard on is what is the best way of funding all of this without getting the club into debt, obviously. So I'm hoping that we can do all of this with the support of the fans, of course, without impacting what's going on elsewhere in the club. We have a strategy that allows us to do a pretty quick build, and with a bit of luck, be in place for the 2017 season. So loads to do, but
you seem to be relishing running this football club, and you've also brought a fresh approach not only to the club but to Scottish football. You've got people thinking. Is that something you will continue to try and do, to try and continue debates about the best way forward for Scottish football?
Yes, I think personally that if someone is running a football club, then it behoves them to do exactly that and to get involved and see how we can all try to make things better for Scottish football. So yes, I look forward to carrying on doing that.
Be interested to listen to that. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, interesting year. A lot of people in football would like to see Ann Budge more involved in the decision-making process at League and FA level. Interesting to watch that one in 2016. I'm joined by Neil McCann and Alan Stubbs, the Hibernian manager here at Tynecastle. Stubbsy, you saw a lot of Hearts last year, obviously, in the Championship. What do you think is the next level for them now in the new year?
Well, I think because they've started so well, I think Robbie's just trying to contain expectation right now. And where do I see Hearts? I think they'll finish third. I think they will finish just behind there. You know, I think they've got a squad which is more than capable of doing that. But I think if you probably asked Robbie before the season started, he probably would have said, you know, to be in the top six. I think they'll do that comfortably, if I'm being honest.
Neil, what about this afternoon? Osman Sow, how much responsibility is on him, given the absence of Juanma, the top scorer, who is suspended?
Yeah, massive. Osman Sow is one of these players who can conjure something out of nothing. He's very, very quick for a big man. He can shift, he can run in behind. I've got a problem with Osman in terms of when Hearts have the ball, which is strange because a lot of people might think, oh, he doesn't do enough off the ball. He actually works when he's putting people under pressure. But I want my striker to work doubly as hard when I'm in possession of the ball, to give the guys in possession options. And I think if he does that today, he could give Celtic real problems. I'd like to see someone support him, of course, and get up there and drag the Celtic fullbacks possibly in, like Hearts got up the pitch. But he's got a big responsibility, of course, with Juanma not playing. He needs to provide that physical presence as well, and not only up there, back defending set pieces.
Let's get a word with the Hearts head coach, Robbie Neilson, who's now with Luke Shanley.
Robbie, are you wary of the Celtic backlash today, or can you take advantage?
Well, it's going to be a difficult game, no matter what happened last week for Celtic. You know, they're a team that's used to play under a lot of pressure, and the pressure is to get results every week, and we understand that. But you know, we think we've got a strong squad, a strong team out today, and I think we can definitely get the 3 points if we play properly. With
Juanma suspended, Gavin Riley comes in. What will he bring to the team, and do you have to change your approach in any way with him in there?
No, he'll bring exactly what I thought we brought him in the summer: pace, energy, goal-scoring threat, and it's a great opportunity for him. You know, Juanma has played the majority of the season, but when he gets suspended last week, it gives Gavin a chance to come in and show everyone what he can do.
Will it be a physical battle out there today?
Yeah, I think it always is. It always is. In Celtic against Hearts, it's a huge game, but I think both teams want to play football. You know, we've got good football players and we're going to try and play.
Do you feel that Celtic defence is vulnerable? Can you get at that?
I think we can get any defence. The players we've got, Riley, Sow, Nicholson, June, you know, they're all very good attacking players, and I think no matter who we're playing against, we always create opportunities, and it's just a case of taking those opportunities.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very diplomatic, wasn't he? More from Neil and Alan to come. The players have just completed their warm-up, so kick-off is almost upon us. This fixture is always a highlight, more so after Hearts' year out in the Championship. Tynecastle's always atmospheric, especially when it's full, especially in the festive period, especially when Celtic are in town. So all those boxes are ticked down, and kick-off is next.
Tynecastle always bubbling when the old firm pay a visit. Simply stunning! Scott Brown! Hotley! Oh, that's brilliant! Wonderfully finished! Templeton! Sketcher! Stephen McManus! Wonderful goal! Griffiths! A captivating contest!